But when God wants to use you for something and you don't move, you are standing there, you don't want to act. God going to use somebody else. Because when the job is open, we don't look for that job. There are tons of people who are looking for the same job. But the company have already identified you as a good candidate. So what we are saying here is that, brothers and sisters, something have gotten out of somebody's body right now as we speak. Somebody is touched on the word. Because there might be some of the things we used to be, including myself. I don't want to do it. I keep procrastinating. But something is touching me as we speak. So that the enemy can find a quiet environment to walk in. The enemy is looking for a place that is quiet. He doesn't want a place that you begin to look for something. He wants an environment where it's very quiet. Then he begin to tell you things that privately that you're supposed to do. Turn this one, do you remember? Search this thing. Search it. And you start searching it. And it starts directing you to many, many other things that you didn't want to do in your life. Your entire life, you've never been there before. In your entire life, you never did this in your life. It starts directing you, and you start going. That's what the enemy is looking for. But God forbid in the life of the children of God. So everything is based upon perspective. How do we see things today? Our perspective causes us to form an idea, an opinion. How do we see things today? What is the conclusion on this? What does God want us to do? How do we think based on what we have heard? What is God's perspective? What is God's view in our life? Is God is bringing this to hurt us, to make us feel we didn't deserve this today? God forbid. God is bringing something like this, a word in season, to energize us, to shake off the dust out of our body, to make us be whole again, not to condemn us, not to point fingers to you. He wants us to be who He wants us to be. Because God knows the plan that He has for us. He only put us in our mom's womb. The brother was standing here and talking. How a woman can carry a baby for 9 months, another human being with her for 9 months. We gotta honor them. We gotta respect them, because God has placed them in a place of such duty for humanity. We have to honor them. Brothers and sisters, our perspective to respond to things and be righteous and respond to things is a game changer for Christians. It's a game changer. If you are just, if I'm just and you respond to God's calling, it's a game changer for us. Why is that? Because God's perspective is above every perspective. God will not direct us to anything that He hasn't seen ahead of time. God has seen our action ahead of time. And He begins to walk with you through a fine line. He knows what is going to happen to us in future. He knows the accident I will get involved to. In 4 months, in 5 months, is accident a good thing? No, God forbid, it's not. But it will happen when God says it will happen. But it's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. It only brings some certain thing to pass. God can bring an accident and somebody come to see you and trying to help you, and that person end up being the one to give you a better job or to introduce you to something bigger. I'm so sorry, you have had this accident. What is your name? You give them your name. Wow, you sound like somebody I've heard before. I work in so place. I work in American Airlines, and the same person, he looks just like you, he works there too. What kind of work you do? Well, I'm a bartender. So well, you don't have to be a bartender. It's a better job for you. Come on, you start changing phone numbers. For accident to happen, look at what is going on. That is God. That is God, brothers and sisters. I tell you this for mine. We know time is not on our side. There's something that happened to me just of recent. I had my nephew that came here. Pay attention to this, it's very, very important. So that when we see things happening in our life, we're wondering, how did this happen? We have no clue what tomorrow is going to bring to us. We have no clue. That is why we say the just shall live by faith. The faith that we have to live by it. Whatever God wants to bring to us, let that happen. Let it happen at an appointed time. My nephew came here and first of all called me that he wanted to do an internship here in Georgia. And I was so pleased. I said, wow, my nephew. For the first time, I was so thrilled. For my nephew to come to stay in my house. That's amazing. I was so happy when he said that. And he said, well, he's going to start in so month. So he's going to come there and do the internship. It's going to take about 2 months. I said, well, that's fantastic. I remember I lived with your dad. I remember when your father, when I traveled from Aba to Lagos, the first person I called him, come and pick me up at Ujuleba. Your dad came there, he was so happy and picked me to his house. And this is a history in the making. This is it's like a repetition. So you're going to come to my house and stay in my house. Glory be to God, I was so thrilled for the gift, opportunity. So he came to the place and the first day he came, we have to find a way to rent him a vehicle. So he was going for the internship. So I called him one day and said, look, I don't think you're renting a vehicle for 1 week for $200-300 or $500-400 a week. That is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. What about if we buy you a car? Just get money. You have to, if you can have this kind of money you're spending, you can buy a car and drive. So he bought the idea and he called the mother. He said, look, this is what uncle suggested that I should do. He asked me to buy a car. I think that's a good idea. At the end of the internship, I can take the car and sell it and still make the same money back. That was a fantastic idea. The mom said, wow, that's fantastic. Boom, he sent the money. When he wired the money came into his account, he paid to me, then we went and bought him a car. And he was using the car. He used the car until the last day that he's about to leave. That night, he went out. He didn't come back home very late. He came back home very late. But that night, he ran into an accident, serious accident, that hit the car until the tire of that vehicle removed with the ball joint of the vehicle. So that was a terrible accident. We went there and saw, how did you survive with this kind of accident? I was shocked. So eventually the car was towed out to a mechanic. During that time, he's preparing to go back. Eventually he left. Immediately he left, the next day, I involved in an accident. I got a serious accident too. My vehicle was totaled. The front of the vehicle was completely damaged with a very little vehicle. At that point, I didn't know how to get to work. My wife was taking me back and forth to work. And before we know it, the mechanic said, look, this car can be fixed. It's going to be ready in 2 days. He said, wow. I called him. He said, well, should I go ahead and pay him? I said, well, until he fixed the car. He started fixing the car. He said, he needs some deposit to buy parts. So he wired the money to the man, he buy the parts. In 2 days, the car was ready. So brothers and sisters, why I'm saying this is because of how God can trace stuff, can follow a process. When the vehicle was ready, he called me. He said, Uncle, go and see the vehicle. Make sure the vehicle is okay. I'm going to pay him the full amount. When they look at the vehicle was ready, even though he doesn't drive very good because of the kind of accident that he had. Well, if wire money, we pay for the vehicle. Now the vehicle is ready. We already park in the house. I asked him, when are you coming to pick the vehicle? He said, my dad's supposed to come and pick up the vehicle. But look, Uncle, you don't have a vehicle. You just have an accident. I need you to drive that car. I need you to drive that car. So I started driving the car. Now, that's the blessing. This thing I never have an idea this is what is going to happen. The vehicle that I suggested to him to buy, if I would have called him mom, he said, please send me $4,000. I want to buy me a car. Do you think the mom will send me $4,000? I'm asking the church. No. She will not. She will not. If I was asking his father, send me $2,000, I want to buy a car for myself. Will he do it? He will not do it. So, but are we saying this to do what? We are saying this to know how God works on situations, on circumstances. I'm driving the car now. My car is total. It's on the junk. It's somewhere in the junkyard. Who could have thought? Do I have an idea this is going to happen? I have no idea. Now I'm driving the car. He said, Uncle, drive the car. We are driving the car. So God has a way to direct our steps. God knows what is going to happen to you, to me, in 4 years. God is already have a plan for you. A plan of escape. A plan to protect you. A plan for a purpose. God has already had it. So why should we be worried as Christians? Let's read in the book of Habakkuk, because of time. Habakkuk chapter 10, and we're going to read. Let's read Habakkuk chapter 2. Because of time, we're not going to read the 10. Habakkuk chapter 2, let's read from 2 to 4. We're supposed to start reading from 4, but let's read from 2 so that we can understand exactly what this place God is talking to us about.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, beginning from verse 2.
Yes, sir.
And the Lord answered me and said, write a vision and make it plain upon table.
He said, write a vision. He said, write a vision and make it plain. Because when God wants to talk to you about something, He wants us to take notes. He wants us to take notes. And don't allow anybody else. Because God is talking to you. When God is talking to you, God is relating something that's about to come to pass into your life. And He wants you to pay attention. Go ahead. Verse 3.
That he may run that readeth it. Verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
He said the vision is what? The vision is for an appointed time. The time is coming. It might not be now. God can talk to you today. It's okay, it's going to happen today. You pray prayer today. Okay, tomorrow. The same prayer you pray, it's going to happen tomorrow. God doesn't work like that. God takes time to bring things to play. God takes time. It takes God a little time to make things to happen. Particularly when it comes to things that want to honor Him, God want to make a foundation. God takes time to bring it to pass. Because He wants to nurture you. He wants to train who He's going to put at this place to manage. He doesn't want to just bring anybody and put it there so that the person will go and disgrace Him and dishonor His name. God don't want dishonor. God don't want us to disgrace Him. That's why God takes time to nurture us so that we know exactly what we are heading to. God want to make sure you're ready to have a family so that when He brings the children, He should bring them to the nurture of Him, to come to know God. God want to give you a job so that when you have a job, you should be able to use it and help yourself and honor Him at the same time. So the appointed time, the vision that will come doesn't just because you have God has done, oh, it's going to be today. Oh God, you are delaying. You are not answering my prayer. I've been praying for this thing for past 1 year, 2 years, 1 month ago. Yesterday I prayed for this thing to happen, but how come it's not happening now? No, God don't want that. When you pray for a particular thing and you're a just person, live by faith. Live by what? Faith. By faith. Go ahead.
But at the end He shall speak and not lie.
At the end of it, God will speak. God will not lie to you. But God can open you to see, and guess what? There are some certain things what God don't even allow us to know. And there are certain things that can let you see, but you'll be wondering, how can that happen? When the angel appeared to Mary, he said, you're going to be the mother of Jesus. He said, how can this happen? She doubted. She could not believe. Zachariah, how will this happen? And God slowly, diligently bring it to pass. Go ahead, son.
Though it tarry, wait for it.
Though what? Tarry. Tarry means it might take a long time. This is the word of God. It might take a long time. Though it take a long time. Then do what? Wait for it. Do what? Wait for it. Go ahead.
Because it will surely come.
Because it will do what? Surely come.
It will not tarry.
It will not do what? Tarry. My brother, let's stop right. Okay, read the 4, verse 4.
Verse 4.
Yes.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Yes.
But the just shall live by his faith.
But the just shall live by his faith. May God add blessing to this word today. And we're going to go to God in prayer. Yeah, it's a very big, each time we say we're going to repeat a place of, or a topic, somehow there's so much God has given us. That's why we could not repeat. But we're going to try and see if we can repeat this and have part 2 of the just shall live by faith. Brothers and sisters, continue to pray for one another. Let God use this word to minister to us and give us peace. May God add blessing to his word, Brother Levi. Lead us in the word of prayer.
Let us pray. Our God was kind, God, your time, King of glory. The King